we're back here at the 2019 Hear the Watchman Prophecy Conference in Dallas, Texas. I'm here with my good friend Casper McLeod. How you doing, Casper?
Delighted to be here with you.
Are you happy to meet me?
All the time.
For like the third time now, I think this is?
Yes, it's been quite good.
It's always great to get with you.
Well, you're on the same team with me, aren't you?
People always ask me, what's that Casper McLeod like? He's got kind of this hair thing going on and the clothes. And I tell him, you know what? Don't judge him by what he looks like on the videos. You got to meet him. You've got to meet him.
You know, the Lord said,
Definitely.
Said, I call you not servants, I call you friends.
Right.
You know, so I'm a friend of the Lord.
Right, you are. Yeah, you're an awesome guy, and I appreciate our friendship.
you?
Speaking of awesome guys, we got a new friend here. His name is Danny Zimmerman from New York, New York. How's that?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yes.
New York represents in Dallas.
Yeah.
New York, New York. So we met with Pastor Brandon, and I ministered to you last year. And
Yeah.
we walked in here to the conference. You came running up and gave us an extraordinary testimony how God had transformed your life after we prayed for you.
Definitely, yeah. For whatever reason it was, when I found out about Hear the Watchman last time in August on Long Island, I just had this feeling I had to go.
Yeah.
Had to go. Now for me, I went by myself. That's not normal. I don't like going places by myself. I like people around me.
Right.
But there was just this push. You have to go to it. You have to go to it. So I did. I didn't know at the time it was so I can be saved. I thought it was just to find out more information. I was interested in the Nephilim, the giants. You know, I'm totally red-pilled, so this is the perfect place for that. And so I wanted that information. I was born and raised Catholic.
Right, yeah.
And
So you qualify to be Pope then?
I wouldn't want that.
No, me neither.
No.
I qualify to be Pope. We're brothers now.
Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, no, I would definitely not want that. But yeah, when I got old enough to go to church, oh, that's so boring. I don't know anyone's been in the Catholic Mass, but it's not the...
Right.
You could fall asleep.
Sure. Many have.
Yeah. And it was boring, and something always bothered me about the praying to Mary, too.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't feel right. Like, why do I need to have someone else if I could just talk to God?
Right.
So that was always gnawing on me. But I was born to the world. I was a sinner. I had all this entertainment I need. I had the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And in the internet, I'm a man. I'm looking up pornography.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a part of me that each time I would do it, I just didn't feel right. I felt dirty afterwards. I felt shame. But I was addicted.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this knot in my stomach, always.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it could be partially living in that city, you know.
Right.
I like to call it the communist state of the republic.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But no, I always had this knot in my stomach. I always didn't feel peace, I guess, is the best way to say it.
Right.
Then my grandmother died.
Mm-hmm.
And when my grandmother died, I started questioning a lot of what I believed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was searching, and one night, coming home from a friend's house, who actually I'm not even friends with her anymore because she said I joined a cult.
Okay, yeah, we've all heard that.
Yeah. I turned on Coast to Coast.
Really?
Yes. And Steve Quayle's playing.
Right.
And now he's talking about giants and aliens and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Nephilim.
Yeah, Nephilim, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And this piques my interest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow. And then he's talking more and more. So I look him up. And then through looking him up, it leads me to Skywatch, because they were doing a lot. I guess it was earlier in Skywatch's time, right? So they were doing a lot of stuff. And I was watching a lot of videos, Steve Quayle's, then I started getting in L.A. Marzulli, Casper I've heard mentioned so many times.
Mm-hmm. Never Mike Shoesmith though, right?
I didn't even hear of you.
Go on.
Well, he's behind the scenes a lot.
Oh, yeah,
of times,
okay.
Except
Yeah.
on Freedom Friday.
Yeah, well, actually, I don't even watch it. I should start, though. Don't get angry, I'm sorry.
So I interrupted you. Don't
No,
lose
it's
your
okay.
train of thought now.
No, I'm good. And so, Steve Quayle, Skywatch, and it really got me interested. And there is one thing as a kid, I remember my grandfather reading the Bible to me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I heard him read me the Bible, I would feel something in me. It's like the goosebumps feeling, but it wasn't like eerie type goosebumps. It was like joy type goosebumps. But I never put two and two together, really. But in finding all that out, with my grandmother dying, questioning things, I started to realize this might be what I need. But still, I have my addiction in pornography. I like to, but I really think my personality is an addictive personality in general. Because if I like something, it's going all in. Like a craft beer thing, but I have craft beer glasses. I don't put them up anymore though, because I don't even feel the need to drink anymore.
Right, good for you.
Yeah, but and then I hear about the Watchmen. I'm like, they're coming to New York. I'm like, I have to go. I have to go. And little did I know, the reason why I had that feeling is because Pastor Carl Gallups starts, and he said something about addiction, pornography and stuff. And at that moment, I'm like, wait, he's talking directly to me, because that's what I had. So right after he was done speaking, when we took our break, I went up to him. I'm like, I really felt you were speaking to me. I have this addiction to pornography and everything. And he goes, wow. He goes, my son would be perfect for you to meet up. And actually, Casper too is into that type of stuff. And so he said, let me set you up with my son. And I talked to Brandon, and then he said, we're going to get Casper to come in with you and talk. And so they were talking to me, ministering to me, and it was there that I accepted Jesus in my heart.
Wow.
And my life changed. It's in that instant, that knot in my stomach, it's gone. I haven't felt it since.
Amazing.
I'm a happier person. Like, I smile all the time.
It's funny because when Brandon and I were setting up the booth Friday morning, I was standing next to Brandon, and Brandon looks up and he gets this big smile on his face, and I turned to see what he was looking at, and you're marching toward him, and it was hugs and smiles and so on. Then you walked away. I said, what's up with that guy? He says, Mike, that guy was at the Watchmen in Long Island.
Yeah.
A complete and total wreck. And he came, we counseled him with the knowledge that we received from the Lord, and that we're now applying to the Chain Breakers conferences and to Redeem Ministries. And look at him now. Look at him now.
Transformed in a moment.
Yes, it really was. I can't thank you enough, honestly.
Well, you thank him.
I thank him, but it was
Jesus
you
did
helping
it.
me. It's an amazing thing. Just with my family, I'm so more relaxed, and we're in situations. If there's an argument, why are you worried about that?
Yeah.
Pray.
Yeah.
My mom, she's still Catholic, but I talk to her. I'm like, Mom, she goes to church every Sunday, but she feels bad when she doesn't. I'm like, Mom, open the Bible, talk with me and my sister.
Right.
Jesus will be here with us.
Right. Yeah.
You miss church, but you're still talking in the Bible.
Yeah.
She hasn't gotten it yet, but my mom is. She'll get it. I know.
Wow.
When I walked into that room and they were ministering to me, Brandon's like, you have problems with your father, don't you? Yeah, I did. I still do some. Me and him argue a lot. We clash. I think we have the same type of personality in some ways. So when someone have a temper, sometimes I still do, but through your book that you told me to buy too, What Was I Thinking? I'm able to take a deep breath more now. And also, when I was talking about the pornography part, those thoughts will come in my head, and I'll be like, no.
Well, you've learned how to take your thoughts captive,
Yes.
and you're retranscribing your neuronal pathways.
Yes. And I say, I'm a saved son of Jesus, and those thoughts go. They flee. They'll try to inch their way back in, but they don't.
I told someone the other day, if you can't resist donuts, how you can resist the devil?
Yeah.
Well, we know now that pornography addiction, even though that's a terminology that gets thrown around a lot, we know it's a chemical, it's a drug addiction. Whenever men see naked or partially clad women, there's a dopamine and serotonin rush that floods the brain and gives us that happy feeling, that euphoric, orgasmic feeling, right? That's where orgasms happen in the brain. And the brain gets completely flooded with those pleasure chemicals involuntarily.
This is why Jesus said, if you're so much lust after a woman,
Right.
you've already committed adultery in your heart.
Right.
Because you're releasing the same biochemical
Thank you.
makeup at that point.
Exactly. So, Danny, you've been delivered.
Yes.
I've been watching you walk around for the last couple of days. I'm looking at a delivered man when I look at
Yes.
you. And even though some people may say, well, he's a Norm Peterson doppelganger. Anybody ever told you you look just like Norm Peterson?
No.
Go back to the 80s show. I mean, you're not old enough to remember that show, but my goodness, the first time, that's Norm Peterson. So I say, Norm! Anyways, the older set will know what I'm talking about. But listen, you've been brave to come on the show and talk about
Oh,
this.
can I tell one more story?
Yeah.
though?
Of course.
When they were ministering to me, my friends are all secular, all of them. My family, where I hang out, they're all are. They were praying for me to meet good Christian men. Literally a couple hours later, I'm upstairs waiting for my dinner in the restaurant in the hotel, and someone sits across from me, who's from Queens, New York. He looks and says, "I'm from Brooklyn." He goes, "I have a Bible study. You should come."
Really?
And again, I was telling you, I'm
That's right.
normally introverted. So for me to even go there was a miracle. But then for me to just go to someone who I've never met before until that day and start doing it was something I'd never done. But I did. And I go there every Thursday now. And he had started going to a new church that opened up in Manhattan. And they have a men's group every Tuesday. Now, I can't make church on Sundays because I work for the MTA in New York City.
Okay.
And I can't get that day off. But I go to their Bible study on Tuesday.
Right.
And it's a men's group. So I met my friend David, who's the one I met who does the Thursday study. And then I go Tuesday as well through a whole bunch of loving, friendly, spirit-filled men who just want to talk about Jesus and learn from each other.
Yeah.
And the pastor, he accepts like the stuff we talk about in the conference here, but he's not really into it. But he listens to me. And I gave him one of LA's books. He's reading. He's like, I can believe all that. It's, to me, it's awesome. It's an awesome feeling.
You know, I talked to my wife last night, and she said, "What have you gotten out of this conference? You know, what's the most profound thing?" I said, "I think the most profound thing that I've gotten from this conference is one sentence from Carl Gallups. He said, so many Christians spend their lives trying to hang on to God. I prefer to live my life letting God hang on to me."
Yes.
Because if you're hanging on to God, what if you let go? You're done. You're finished. But with God holding on to us, like He appears to be holding on to you, hooking you up with men of God in the area where you live, and firstly with Carl and Brandon and Casper here. Wow, it's a powerful testimony, and we appreciate you bringing it to us.
No problem. I love doing it.
Even women are today subjected to pornography issues, and it's just amazing. God had a plan to get you delivered before the world was even made.
Yes.
He's got a plan for everybody. So if you're watching this, and maybe you're struggling with some kind of addiction. Not all addictions are bad. I mean, after all, I'm addicted to Christ's love. So you might as well face it, we're addicted to Christ's love.
Amen.
And He can do anything. Anything's possible with God.
Amen.
Yes, amen.
So anyway, that's Danny's story. I hope we'll hear more from Danny in coming episodes, perhaps. And thanks for watching, everybody.
God bless you.
Check out. We're going to put links to all of the Chainbreaker Conference material and the Redeemed Ministries material. If you guys need any help in this area, reach out to us. And you can always reach me, ppsimmons@live.com. Thank you, guys. We'll talk to you next time.
For thousands of years, mankind has debated how creation began. Ancient texts tell us the story. But today, the real message behind the pivotal account of the Garden of Eden has been obfuscated and lost. That is, until now. World-renowned author Carl Gallups digs up the hidden truths from the book of Genesis to finally give back the knowledge that was lost to the world. Find out what really happened in the Garden of Eden. what Jesus taught about Eden on the cross, and how the conflict between Jesus and the gods of antiquity is about to erupt on planet Earth, fulfilling biblical prophecy. In the new book, Gods of Ground Zero, this explains everything.